Okay, well, welcome everyone. How nice is it to be around people again in a gathering? So we appreciate everybody coming out. My name is Kevin O'Rourke. I work in student services, and doing the welcome for us today is the president of Shasta College, Dr. Joe Weiss.
So again, I echo Kevin's sentiment, and glad to have you here. Thank you for coming out on this fine first day of autumn. And we are enjoying our new Veteran Center behind me, and we're very grateful for the voters of Measure H in 2016 that funded this project. Thank you for passing a tax on yourself to help us improve our facilities. And it's really great to see tangible results coming, even though we really wanted to do this ceremony about 15 months ago, but we're getting it done now. And one of the things I just wanted to take a minute to do, and I know it's always dangerous because people sneak in and stand in the back and we don't catch them, but I'm gonna recognize a few folks here, elected officials who are here today. From Anderson City Council, Baron Browning, over there. Next to him, Mark Mazzano from Reading City Council. Thank you for coming. Representing the Sheriff's Office, Administrative Sergeant Jerry Fernandez, representing Michael Johnson. Thank you for coming. We also have Bruce Ross, representing Senator Dolly's office. Are you here, Bruce? There you are. And I'm not sure if she made it or not. Debbie Hopkins, are you here from Anderson City Council? Let's clap anyway. Okay, thank you. So again, I welcome you here, and I'm grateful for your participation in this wonderful celebratory event. And I will turn it back over to Dr. Kevin O'Rourke.
Thank you, President Weiss. So for the Color Guard representation, presenting the colors for today, please welcome the Color Guard represented by the U.S. Army, U.S. Marines, U.S. Navy, and U.S. Air Force. Ladies and gentlemen, we remind you to remain standing at attention until the colors have been retired, following the singing performance of our national anthem by Arlene Miranda and the Pledge of Allegiance by Preston Sharp.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Order, arms.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Group, right, takes. Forward, march. Left, left.
Okay, what a special way to start the program today. We would like to thank Arlene and Preston. We're very proud Arlene is a Shasta College employee with us, and so we're happy to show off that singing voice, and thank you to the color guard representation. And now I'll turn it back over to President Weiss for some special recognitions.
I just want to take a moment to thank a few folks involved in our, what you see behind you, the result, but also in planning this ceremony. And first of all, I want to recognize our Board of Trustees. We have 4 of our board members here today. We have Scott Swendeman, Richard Lawrence, Kendall Pearson, and Pat Carr. I would be remiss not to recognize and thank our architect, NM&R, our local architect designing the beautiful facility behind me, and of course our contractor, Gifford Construction, Rob Barr's here, and he would be very mad at me if I didn't say he came in on time and under budget. So way to go, Gifford. Of course, our physical plant staff and grounds crew, and our food services staff, and our bond program manager, Teresa Markwood, and George Estrada, our physical plant director, all played a special role in the planning, tracking of the finances, and then we put together a committee led by Sherry Nicholas to plan this event, so thank you to all of you. And then finally, just 2 other thank yous, and that is, you see all the beautiful flags surrounding me around to my right and left, and that is thanks to the Enterprise Lions Club came out and set those up for us, so a big thank you to them. And then you see the veterans car here to my right, and Fred Loveland brought that out, veterans car and Patriot Rider member. So thank you for making it special for us today. And with that, I'll turn it back over to Kevin O'Rourke.
Okay, well, we have an impressive lineup of speakers for you today. And so we'll go ahead and start with Robert Bowman, who's a Sergeant Major, United States Army veteran, and is the program director for our Step Up program.
Good morning, everyone. As Dr. O'Rourke said, my name is Robert Bowman. I am the program director for the Shasta College Step Up program. And I would like to thank Dr. Wise, all of the members of the Board of Trustees, our faculty, staff, and students for making this long-awaited day a reality. Service is defined as the action of helping or doing work for someone. I am just one of over approximately 20,000 veterans in our district who have served our country and community. Today's Veterans Center opening is another example of Shasta College's commitment to serving our veterans. Given that service is not just a duty, but a privilege, it is truly appropriate that we gather here today. This day culminates years of passionate service in trying to make this center a reality and serve our veterans. This center will support countless veterans, just like this college helped me over 20 years ago. My time at Shasta prepared me to continue my education and ultimately obtain both bachelor's and master's degrees during the course of my 25 years of military service. I urge all student veterans in our community to utilize the Veterans Resource Center as a quiet place to study, commiserate with fellow veterans, or just have quiet time to decompress. The Shasta College veteran staff is dedicated to your success and will be here when you need them, just like you were when we needed you. Thank you very much for your time.
I forgot to remind our president to thank the Citizens Bond Oversight Committee. So publicly, write that in my evaluation, please. All right. Next up, we have Celestina Traver. So she is a United States Army MP veteran and Shasta County Veteran Services Officer. Thank you for joining us today.
Good morning, everyone. 22 veterans commit suicide every day. Not because they want to die, but because they do not feel like they fit in. Everything they are accustomed to is gone when they exit the armed forces. Their friends, their military family is gone, and they might not ever see them again. Just imagine. Veterans have a huge loss of career as well. When they enlist, they break them down and build them back up to listen to orders to keep them safe. To just listen and do what their superiors say. Each veteran has something or someone to tell them what to do 24/7 and not to think on their own. Medically discharged veterans are released from duty without choice, thrown away after being injured. They find themselves needing medical and still injured and in pain after they get out. When they exit the military, once responsible for million-dollar equipment, having to make huge life changes and decisions, and having many years of leadership, they get out and find their worth in the civilian world and in the career world not comparable. Thank you to the GI Bill that veterans have an option to go back to college, yet they are still trying to figure out what their responsibility is in the civilian world. With this loss of identity, they venture back to college. The Veterans Support and Success Center will provide a place where they can come to study and find other battle buddies that they can talk with and relate to. This center is a place of new beginnings and will have an environment that will lead to their success at Shasta College. A huge, huge thank you to all the staff and sponsors, from me and my office, to also the community partners that has recognized the need and was determined to fill it. I leave you this quote from George Washington. "The willingness with which our young are likely to serve in any war, no matter how justified, shall be directly proportioned to how they perceive the veterans of earlier wars and were treated and appreciated by their nation." Thank you.
Very powerful. Thank you for that. Next up is Dabib Hindershot, Corporal E4, United States Marine Corps veteran, and a very talented CIS instructor here at Shasta College.
Hello, my name is Dabib Hindershot. I'm a United States Marine and a faculty member here at Shasta College. Now, I want you to realize I didn't say I was a Marine, because for veterans, that's not the case. For veterans, it is who we are. It's not what we were. It's not in our past. It's part of our DNA, and it's part of what we are today. When I think of veterans, I think of words like strong, resourceful, leaders, motivated, dedicated, loyal. And when I think of students, that's what I want for my students. I couldn't think of attributes that would really show success more than those attributes. And yet, when you look at our veterans and our population and our veterans here on our campus, they're struggling, they're not struggling because they're missing some kind of resource or one of those attributes. They have all of those attributes that really we're looking for success. They're struggling because they're transitioning from structure to chaos. And that might sound kind of weird for civilians, because you look around and you go, this isn't chaos. And what I see on the TV for war, that doesn't look like structure. But nothing could be further than truth for our veterans. The life that they come onto this campus is incredibly chaotic. They lost their sense of belonging. They are transitioning into this world of being a student that they don't even know. They know that they want it. And in fact, for many students, for many of these students that are on our campus, they joined one of the armed services to get the GI Bill so that they could afford college. There was no other way that they could look at it and say, this is how I'm going to afford college. And that might sound weird, but they did. They picked war. They picked saying yes to the unanswered question, because that's what you're doing. You don't know what you're going to do. What you did is you said yes. You suspended your freedoms during that period of time. And you did it so that you could get a college education at some point. So that's how important this is for them. They left this life of responsibility and purpose, where they're in charge of people's lives, millions of dollars of equipment, and they transition back into the civilian world, and they're told, I'm sorry, but you're not qualified. Well, hold on a second, I'm not qualified to run a Taco Bell? It's a weird sense, and yet this is what they're going through. This is what your students on this campus are going through. They lost their chain of command, and that chain of command allowed them an opportunity to resolve any issue that they had. Now they're on campus and they don't know how to get financial aid. And they can't go to their chain of command to figure out where they're going to go for those things. Luckily, we have a solution for that. So that's wonderful. Relationships can be difficult because at the very least, they're 4 or 5 years older than the peers that they're seeing on this campus. And many times it's 20 and 30 years. And so when they look around for peers, they don't see that. Luckily, we have a solution for that. They're feeling out of place. Sense of belonging is not there. They're censoring themselves when they're having a conversation with you. I don't know if you realize that, or if you've ever done that in life, where you're really working at having this conversation and censoring yourself because you can't drop the F-bomb as a verb, a noun, an adjective, and an adverb in one conversation. And there's actually a lot of talent there. My Spanish teacher in high school would say, swearing is just proof of a lack of vocabulary. And as an educator, that probably is the case for many people. But here they are censoring what they're doing, because what conversation looked like just 6 months ago looks very different in today's world. So those are the things that your students, those veterans coming into this brand new building are going through. And that's great. We have a home for them now. We have a place for them to find peers, a place for them to retreat, regroup, and get ready to attack the next fight. Yes, I use purposeful Marine Corps terms, right? Purposeful veterans terms, because that's what's going through their head when they're going to your next class. That's what's going through their head when they're going, how am I going to finish out this week? And it does give them that. It gives them a place where they can focus again, a place where when they don't understand what's going on, they have people with common language. They have people that they can lean on. For a service member, it's hard to let your guard down when you're walking around, especially those that are just getting out of the service. At least here, they know that there's somebody else that has their back, and for the next 10, 15 minutes, I can go ahead and let my guard down. I can go ahead and relax. And that is what this means. So when I look at the Measure H bond and all the things that we're accomplishing with it, this one thing, I think is the most important thing we did. And anybody that knows me personally knows that actually means a lot, because I have another building I'm really proud of. So I want to say thank you to Shasta College. I want to say thank you to everybody, including myself, that pays those taxes every day. And I want to say welcome to all the veterans. Now, get that word out. Let all your other service members know that this place is for you. Thank you.
Thank you for those words, Professor Hendershot. We appreciate it. Next up is Patrick Carr, Captain, U.S. Army, Vietnam War veteran, and the president of our Shasta College Board of Trustees. And after Patrick shares a few words, he is going to introduce our keynote speaker.
I think Dobby said everything that I was going to say, so thank you. Anyway, I'll still read my notes if that's all right here. After spending 4 years of my life in military service to my country, 4 years in the prime of my life, it was indeed a bit of culture shock to first return home from a war zone in Vietnam, retrieve my young wife and newborn child from her folks' farm in Minnesota, and drive our fledgling family to the remote twin college community of Pullman, Moscow, in eastern Washington. To reinsert myself into civilian student lifestyle as if the previous 4 years had not affected my view of the world or how I would cope with war zone to academia transition. As a graduate student at 26 years of age, intermingling on a campus dominated by 18 to 22-year-olds, being perceived as having supported an unpopular war, I often felt awkward being an old man amongst youngsters, trying to catch up as I enrolled in a number of undergraduate prerequisites. I was sort of like Rodney Dangerfield in Back to School. Then with a family, partially funded under the GI Bill, I was playing catch up to a lot of my former college buddies who'd avoided military service through deferments. They were already ensconced in professional careers while I was still in the process of upgrading my credentials to enter the civilian job market for a good-paying job. They were already buying homes and cars, launching their careers, and I was still back in school. Vietnam was still politically unpopular, especially on college campuses, and I assumed a low profile when discussions arose about the war. Thankfully, many of the students at Washington State University were respectful and receptive to returning veterans, although you just knew it was a topic to be avoided when building relationships in the campus environment. To a degree, I was all alone, without many acquaintances who'd shared the same war zone experiences. That was my 1971 returning vet experience, as well as my wife Kathy's, who'd waited out my tour of duty wondering if I'd make it home safely. 50 years later, our country and culture have become more appreciative and attentive to the plights of military veterans, faced with reacclimating to civilian life and academic culture. Whenever I'm crossing the county line at Cottonwood Creek on Interstate 5, the "Where We Honor Veterans" sign jumps out at me. Some other North State counties have adopted similar messaging on their county line signage. It's comforting to see such a welcoming message, while also posing the critical question, so how do we support our veterans? In our Tri-County community, the answer to that question is reassuring because first, we have multiple VFW and American Legion posts. We have local county veteran services in our Tri-County district. We have a top-notch local veterans clinic in the heart of Reading, soon to migrate midway between Anderson and Reading near the airport and across Knighton Road from the new Northern California Veterans Home. We have a beautiful modern veterans home nestled between Anderson and Reading on Knighton Road. We have a stately and dignified Northern California Veterans Cemetery near the community of Igo, dedicated a few years back by our Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger. And now, we have a brand spanking new Veterans Support and Success Center. Right here in the center of our local community college, serving those who've served our country and have joined or rejoined our community. This center, constructed with funds from the $139 million Measure H bond issue passed by the voters of Shasta, Tehama, and Trinity counties in 2016, was constructed at a cost of almost $2,600,000 and host staff and facilities to serve our veteran student population with veteran work-study programs, veteran community referrals, enhanced college veteran awareness, veterans general assistance, national and state veterans education benefit awareness and processing, peer mentoring assistance, and participation in a veterans club and linkage to other veterans associations in the community. On behalf of the Shasta Tehama Trinity Joint College District, it gives us great pleasure to see this important facility project reach fruition. We applaud, I don't know where she is right now, but Ms. Teresa Markward, the project manager on this. Teresa, can you stand up? Who's done just a marvelous job and kept our board regularly aware of exactly the progress on all the projects going on under Measure H. We applaud the bond project staff as well. And we applaud the Measure H Bond Oversight Committee. And we applaud our supportive community at large for dedicating the resources and actions necessary to see it all happen. Now I'd like to direct our attention to our next speaker and local philanthropist, former state senator from the 4th District, former chairman of the California Veterans Board, and former secretary of the California Department of Veterans Affairs, our own Senator Maurice Johannesson. A Korean War veteran and a true kingpin in bringing home the resources and political will to build the Northern California Veterans Cemetery at Igo, the Northern California Veterans Home centered between Anderson and Redding, and a new veterans clinic to be located across Knighton Road from the Veterans Home. A native of Oslo, Norway, Senator Kerr, is that pronounced right? Kerr Maurice Johannesson came to America with hopes of achieving a successful and meaningful life, both in business as well as success as a responsible community member. His list of achievements speaks well that he's fulfilled those early hopes. In the 1980s, he distinguished himself in successfully serving on the Redding City Council, even as mayor in 1988 and 89. In the early 1990s, he won election to the Shasta County Board of Supervisors, where he was chairman in 1992. His rapid rise in the political arena saw him elected to serve California State Senate in 1993, going on to serve 2 additional terms before bowing out in 2002. That same year, Senator Johannesson, a Republican, was appointed by the Democratic Governor Gray Davis to serve as Secretary of the California Department of Veterans Affairs, a post which he shepherded until 2003. On a personal plane, Senator Johannesson's personal contributions include $1 million toward purchasing and permitting for construction of the new Veterans Clinic out on Knighton Road, another $300,000 for the chapel at the Northern California Veterans Cemetery, and another $250,000 for an animal medical care center at Turtle Bay Park. In addition, Maurice has reported numerous other contributions to worthy causes and beautification projects around our county. So without further ado, I'm reaching puberty. Okay. Without any further ado, I present to you one of our distinguished local persons for others, the Honorable Maurice Johannesson. Maurice?
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. It's a great honor for me to be here. Driving over here today, I want to make sure I remember to thank the one person who made this all possible, my wife, Mary Ann. We've been married a short 45 years. So that's why I do what I'm told. But in any event, in doing so, I thought, I'm not going to be, I got to go a little different tack that most of you probably would think of. A lot of the things that's been said, I agree with, and I'm very proud of the people that put all this stuff together. We can do anything we set our mind to. I have a favorite saying in my office, says, man who says it cannot be done, don't interrupt guy who's already doing it. And these things are great. I love this area. But anyway, this is a little sideways here because a lot of people don't really know me from a personal standpoint. And it's sort of interesting that maybe I'm gonna try to go through it. But I'm an immigrant, as you, well, some claim I don't speak good, but that's okay. And that the way I come here, I was a merchant seaman. And I picked rust and all kinds of stuff on an old tramp steamer when I was 16. I come over here before my 18, I was 17, something like that. I had 20 bucks in my pocket, couldn't speak English hardly, and obviously they couldn't hire me. So they suggested perhaps I should go to a recruiter in LA. So I went over there, and the poor guy says, okay, what do you want to do? And I explained to me what you want. He says, where's your birth certificate? I said, I don't have it. And he says, how come you don't speak English good? Well, I'm from Minnesota. And we don't speak much English over there yet. So the guy said, we understand. Sign here, sent me to Fort Ord for training, so forth. And I wanted to, the reason I tell about that because the amount of time I lived in Europe during the war, I saw it personally. I knew I shouldn't go there. But I had family in concentration camps. It's a lot of these things that people don't understand. I know what it means to be brown shirt. Those were the actual forerunners for the black uniforms of Hitler. I've lived it, I've walked it. My wife and I walked the same streets that I walked in those days. We were invited by the Prime Minister of Norway to come over. Because they wouldn't believe that anybody could come and take the trip I did and just where else. Anyway, that's it. This facility here was a long time coming. A lot of people worked on it. I know I've been watching a lot of this stuff. I helped a lot of the work here was done on Shasta College when we got that going. That's how far back I go. Now, for those of you that count numbers, I can tell you, I feel my age at 58. Excuse me. Anybody believe that? Nah. 87. But I still do my couple of miles a day. I can still argue with people. Maybe too much, my wife says. They want me to go back in elected office. And I told them, no way would I do that. So I've been helping people be elected. But anyway, they sent up here a couple of people from the Republican Party. For those of you that don't realize I'm a Republican, right? Okay. And that said that you had an approval rating of 84% in your district, never heard of it. And if I would run for office again, they'll put $300,000 in a campaign account. I can go slave, go fishing, do whatever it is, they get me elected. And about 2 or 3 weeks later, guess who's called? Burton, John Burton. Believe it or not, I got good friends all over the world, even Democrats. And so, they said the same thing. They were clear to think if I would anything that I want to do, they would support me and get it done. But I told them, like I told the other ones, I'm too old, too cranky, too opinionated, my wife won't let me. So that took care of that. No, I I'm so proud of what's here. I know I'm sideway a little bit on some of this stuff, but it brings back terrible memories. And I can tell you that it'll never leave you. So I love this country. I love the people. I love Reading. I've done everything I can to help and support anyone that is willing to work hard and to get things accomplished. Here we can do that. And I guess it is not appropriate for us to get a little emotional about this, but I can tell you, it's been a long life. And it's been a wonderful life provided for me as an immigrant. And I can tell you also, anyone that would like to tackle me, please do. I haven't had a good fight for a long time. So, no, I appreciate being here. I appreciate all the work that's been put in here. I appreciate everything. It couldn't have been done better, in a better place or surroundings. I will even, as a matter of, I follow every rule, you know that. Actually, I bend amongst them a little bit. And I'm even told them I'm going to bend it with a mask, I'm going to go in and take a look at it. And they looked at me and I said, I know, I got a mask. So, in any event, thank you everybody being here, for all those that worked so hard to get this done. And I just want to leave you with, there has to be, in any of these situations, there has to be some humor. It's serious, but it has to be some humor. When I was the Secretary of Veterans Affairs, I ran the Veterans Departments all over the state and all the rest of it. And I got an invitation to be the keynote speaker over in Vegas for the Marines. And I went over very dutifully. Started off, I got introduced, they gave me all the accolades I didn't deserve, but that's okay, I can handle it. And I said, just a moment. How many Marines are in there? And they go, you, oh, what not? And I said, don't worry about it, I got to talk a little love if she understand. It'll come to you later. But anyway, thank you for being here. I love you all. Thank you for all you have done. Thank you.
Thank you to all of our speakers, not just for being part of the ceremony today, but for your service to our country. So let's give them one big round of applause. Okay, and now on to the ceremonial ribbon cutting. So President Weiss and the Board of Trustees. Well, what a special event. We also like to thank the music that was provided, Sage Mitchell, instructor and musician, thank you. And one last round of applause for the committee that put this day together and for our veterans here in Shasta County and Tama and Trinity County. And that concludes our event, but we do want to invite you to join us for refreshments and a tour of the facility. So please stick around.